Yo, what's going on, guys? Mush back at it with the top 5 best PC hardware deals of the week for February 12th. There are some pretty good deals this week, the majority of them being on video cards, so let's just get right into this with number 5. Number 5, you can pick up the Acer G6 Series G246HL black 24-inch 1080p monitor. This is down to just $100. The real downside of this monitor is that it does have a 5 millisecond response time. That's not a big deal. But if you're like super into Counter-Strike Global Offensive or games like that, that might bug you out a little bit, but it's not too big of a deal for the majority of people. As far as connection goes, it's got one VGA port and one DVI port, so unfortunately no HDMI port on this either, but with DVI you guys should be fine. And for $100 to get a 24-inch 1080p monitor, I would say that's a very good deal. So yeah, if you're looking for a 1080p monitor on a budget, it's not going to get much better than getting a 24-inch monitor for just $100. Moving on to number 4, you can pick up the EVGA 450B1. It's a 450 watt 80 plus bronze certified power supply, and on Newegg it's down to just $30, which isn't an insane deal for a 450 watt power supply, but this is one that's reviewed very highly. And if you're looking for a power supply for a lower end build, like a $450 build oddly enough, or a $500 build, this is gonna work really well. And even with a 450 watt power supply, you can power higher end GPUs. If you're picking something up like an RX 470, a power supply like this is actually gonna work completely fine. And it's only $30. It's 80 plus bronze certified, so if you want to get this power supply and throw it into a pre-built computer and then pick up a video card from there as well, that'll also be a really good option. And $30 for a quality power supply, you can't go wrong with that. The final 3 components on this list are going to be video cards. First of all, want to start off with the most expensive. The ZOTAC GeForce GTX 1070 is down to $380, which for all intents and purposes isn't an amazing deal for a 1070. It's a good deal for a 1070. Whenever I see a 1070 for around $380, I would say that's a fine pickup. But as you guys might know, right now if you pick up a 1070, you will get either a free copy of For Honor or Ghost Recon Wildlands of your choosing. You get one of the two. I know both of those games are coming from Ubisoft, so that might turn some of you guys off, but For Honor is a game that actually runs really well on PC. Unfortunately, with the beta, it didn't seem like there were too many people online, so I questioned that game's longevity on PC at least. With Ghost Recon Wildlands, that is going to be a cooperative experience. I know some people got their hands on the beta, I did not, unfortunately, but that is a highly anticipated title as well. Again, 2 games from Ubisoft, so that might turn you guys off, but I mean, you're getting them for free, so you really can't complain, and that is $60 of value added to the $380 price tag. And the 1070 itself, you guys probably already know, it's a fantastic video card for gaming. If you're just gaming at 1080p, however, I do think it's a little bit overkill. I mean, it's a fine video card to have at 1080p, you're going to be running every game really freaking well, but spending this much money to just game at 1080p, I don't know, it is a little limiting. That's why if you're picking up a 1070, I would recommend to have a 1440p monitor. The 1070 can't push every game at that resolution maxed out at 60 frames per second, but it can offer a very great 1440p experience, and I think that's when you get the most out of the GTX 1070, because at 1080p, you're just going to be running a lot of games maxed out and getting 60 frames per second no problem, which is ideal. But even if you were to up the resolution to 1440p, say with a game like Battlefield 1, the 1070 can run Battlefield 1 just fine at 1440p, and that's where you really start seeing the benefit of the 1070, at least in my opinion. But either way, it's a fantastic GPU, and for $380 to get a free game on top of that, it's a really good pickup. Next up, number 2 is going to be the PowerColor Radeon R7 360. This is a 2GB video card, and yes, this is not the most powerful video card on the market, but it's just $75 on Newegg, and there's a $20 mail-in rebate, knocking it down to $55. From what I've seen, it seems like this GPU is comparable to the GTX 750 Ti, which for just $55, that's pretty solid performance. I mean, I wouldn't get this GPU if you're looking to play games like The Witcher 3 maxed out at 1080p, or even The Witcher 3 at like high settings at 1080p. No, you're getting a GPU like this if you want higher performance in games like League of Legends, World of Warcraft, and your lower key titles. And sure, here or there you can dabble in some higher end games. Maybe you can play Skyrim, Fallout 4, but it's not geared towards somebody that's looking for the highest quality PC gaming experience, and you shouldn't be expecting that for $55. But what you get from this GPU for that money, I think it's a very good deal for those of you on a very tight budget, or for those of you just looking for the things I just mentioned previously. You're looking to play lower end games, and you're looking to play those esporty titles. Finally, number 1, the MSI GeForce GTX 1050 Ti, the 4GB video card, is down to $125 after a $15 mail-in rebate. The GTX 1050 Ti was one of those GPUs where it came came out and I really didn't know its place in the market. It was going for like $160 and that was just way too expensive. Now that it's down to $125, I think it's a solid pickup. I would still put the RX 470 ahead of it, but I know some of you guys just want an NVIDIA option, and I think the 1050 Ti is a pretty good GPU. It's a 4GB video card, and gaming at 1080p, you're gonna get pretty good performance. It's not gonna be a GPU where you can max out every game and get 55 to 60 frames per second, but considering it is just $125, it's gonna give you really good performance at 1080p, and this is another GPU where if you have a pre-built computer, hell, you could pick up that EVGA 450-watt power supply on this list and get this 1050 Ti, put that into a pre-built rig that maybe has an i3 or an i5 already in it, and you're gonna be getting a very good PC gaming experience just off that. A gaming experience that far exceeds what the consoles are offering right now. So yeah, I think the 1050 Ti for $125 is a pretty good deal. I would like to see it go a little bit cheaper. As soon as it's like $115, I think it'll be one of the better GPUs on the market. But for $125, still pretty solid. So that's gonna wrap up this video, guys. As always, thanks for watching. If you have a request for a future video, you can leave it in the comment section down below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Peace out.